What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning into the channel. Bring you some new World AETERNUM gameplay on the PS5. There are three unique graphics options for New World on the PS5. Performance mode, quality mode, and 4K mode. What you're seeing here is the game running in 4K mode. Now, normally I would play these games, or pretty much any game, in performance mode. I like to get that extra FPS, and that's usually going to be the best way to play these games. But even in performance mode, it is not a super smooth, consistent 60 FPS. So I switched it over to quality mode, and it did help with the graphics a bit. But whether I was playing on performance mode or quality mode, the graphics and the resolution just felt very blurry to me. So I switched it over into 4K, and surprisingly, this is the best way to play this game, in my opinion, on consoles, or at least on PS5. Because if you're not going to get that super smooth 60 FPS on performance mode, why sacrifice the visual fidelity? So I've been playing on 4K, and the performance has been more or less the same as it would be on performance mode. So you're getting the extra sharp resolution, the increased the graphical fidelity, but the performance is more or less the same. So I've just been having a pretty good time playing it on 4K and not really noticing those performance dips, because it's kind of consistent across all three game modes. So you might as well get the extra graphics and resolution on top of that. But this is more or less going to showcase my initial several hours of the game, kind of condensed down to around 30 minutes. Came out yesterday, played a good bit yesterday, some more hours today, and I've been having a pretty good time. I'm not the biggest MMO fan. I usually prefer single-player RPGs and single-player games these days, so getting into MMOs can be very hard for me. And yeah, the initial first hours of New World, it's quite tedious, just like many MMOs, as it introduces all the systems to you and all the different things that you're going to have to learn, like life skills and combat and crafting and all that good stuff. But once you get past that initial, 2 hours, the game really opens up and you can kind of just go out and do your thing. It reminds me a lot of playing RuneScape back in the day, if you can believe it. And when I say back in the day, I mean 8th grade, freshman year of high school. I'm 33 now, so it does kind of bring back those memories of going to a town, going to a certain region of the map, doing all your questing there, pretty much exploring everything that you need to explore, move on to the next. Maybe you go do some quests and you do some refining, you go out, you get materials, you get wood, you get ore, you get fiber, all that good stuff. You bring it back to town and you use those materials to craft some weapons or maybe some armor, and then you sell them on the marketplace so you can get some gold, so you can get some better gear. I'm currently saving up for a house, maybe in the first town, because everyone knows we're not going to be able to afford a house in real life in this economy. That's fucking crazy, so might as well buy a house in New World with the gold that I've been saving up. But combat is pretty basic. It is real-time action-focused combat, but it's pretty fun. It's simple at this point. We're still very early on into the game. I'm not sure how much more it's going to expand in terms of its depth, but so far this is definitely not the deepest RPG that you're going to play. But I really like the colonial-based setting here. It's a little bit more unique than your typical high fantasy that you usually get with these MMOs. I definitely kind of like the colonial setting with the blunderbuss and the musket, although we should have some pistols in here eventually. Half of the NPCs walk around with pistols, but for some reason we don't have them yet, so that's kind of a bummer. But these are just initial first impressions. I'm not going to be going into depth here because I like to actually spend quite a bit of time before I do my in-depth reviews. I like to write a script for those, but this is just my initial thoughts off the top of my head. Playing in 4K mode, the visuals look pretty good. Again, I really like the graphics here. The art style reminds me a bit of Fable, mixed in with some Kingdoms of Amalur, if you've ever played that. I've been having a good time, despite me not really enjoying MMOs too much. So far, I've had a positive experience. I haven't had any issues with servers, haven't lost connection. You are going to get some rubber banding here and there. But so far, it's been a pretty smooth experience. Again, it just sucks that regardless of whether you're playing on performance mode or quality mode or the 4K mode, you don't get that super consistent 60 FPS. So switching it over to 4K, you might as well get that extra graphical fidelity, because it's not going to be too much of a difference from performance mode, at least from what I have been able to kind of gather over my first 2 days of playing the game. Yeah, I think if you like MMOs, you're obviously gonna probably have a good time with this. It's more of a sandbox style MMO. There is a main quest, there's side quests, but a lot of it is kind of about just going out, improving your life skills like chopping trees and fishing and cooking and mining ore and hunting and skinning and kind of making a little bit of a name for yourself in the towns. And then you could go around and do the main quests and all that stuff while you're doing that. It's got a nice gameplay loop, and so far I've actually kind of managed to get into that nice gameplay loop of going out, getting items, going back to town, crafting some stuff, and selling them or finding gear and selling them, and getting a nice little gameplay loop to save up for my first house in the game. It's been a really fun time. Combat is pretty basic, but it is fun. I do like the real-time combat. I do wish there was some more depth to the skill trees and the characters, but again, we are in the early hours of the game, so that will be expanding and getting a little bit more deep as we continue. But so far, first impressions, pretty good time. Let's see how long it can sustain my attention, but so far, so good. Yeah, that's my first impressions, guys. This is how the game looks. This is how the game plays. You can sit back, relax, enjoy the rest of the video. To the next one. Peace out, guys.
I've spelunked caverns of the ancient. I've spelunked caverns of the ancients. Crossed the sands. What is the point of searching anymore? Oh, what odd flora. Thank you, kind traveler. Every day is the same. What is this?
I see smiles on faces that were once dour because of you. I hope you remember that whenever you look. That's exactly right. Gods be damned.
Things are pretty dire, aren't they? We've got but I've got a plan to get no dessert. No one, that's who. I have some ready and of course I tried to go back.